Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome everybody. I hope you guys are having a nice day, enjoying yourselves. Now I know you're probably thinking this is Sunday. Normally you don't have live streams on Sunday, but because yesterday I couldn't make the live stream, I thought to myself, you know what? I can't let you guys down. So my name is Yaqut Zaman, guys. This is my YouTube channel, Roots of Knowledge. And I usually have live streams where you guys can, inshallah, ask questions. If I know the answer, I'll try to answer it. If I don't know the answer, then unfortunately I won't be able to answer it. Simple as that. Right, so unfortunately yesterday I was not able to make it because I had to go to a wedding yesterday. And the wedding finished late. So by the time I came back, it was late, and then I was tired as well. So unfortunately, I couldn't have the live stream on Saturday, but alhamdulillah, we've got live stream today. As you can see, guys, my hair has gone. Right, so there you go. That's my hair. Bold. Yeah, I look like a miskeen. Let me know if I look like a miskeen. My head is very cold, so I've got to keep this hat on to keep my head warm. But alhamdulillah, mashallah, I went on Umrah, mashallah. Umrah went very well, guys. It was fantastic experience. Definitely, if any of you guys are thinking about going Umrah, definitely go. There are many ways that you can go for Umrah. You can go with groups, you can go on your own. And I would definitely recommend for you guys to go. Try to go with your families if you can, or friends, with a group of people that you know, so that the experience can be shared, inshallah. It's very spiritually uplifting. Yeah, definitely spiritually uplifting. The people that I've seen that go there, generally, when they return, they definitely have a positive experience. Even if you might have some problems in your hotel, even if you might have some problems with food and things like that, it doesn't really matter. You're not going there for a holiday. It's not a 5-star holiday to, I don't know, some fancy resort. It's connecting yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's house. Yes, this is why it's very important for families, people to, if they can afford it, to try and go for Umrah, or save up at least. Save up so that you can go for Umrah. I would definitely encourage you guys. Honestly, it's a life-changing experience. All right, so let's crack on then, guys. Wa alaikum assalam, Abu Bakr, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome, my brother. The lighting looks a bit dull, doesn't it? One second, let me just up the lighting. Okay, so lighting's a bit better now. Yeah, so that's that, guys. Wa alaikum assalam, Amjad Ilahi Sahib. Kya hal hai Bhai Sahab? Umrah Mubarak, Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. And may Allah bless you guys as well for making dua for me. Jazakallah meant so much when you messaged me from there. You're welcome, my brother. I had to make special dua for you. Amjad Ilahi. I had to make an Amjad Ilahi dua over there. Kanda wa alaikum assalam. Ahla wa sahlan, brother. Is it permissible to plant flower seeds on top of a grave? And if so, is it beneficial? So there is a difference of opinion with regards to whether or not you're allowed to plant things at graves. And the reason is because there is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he passed by 2 graves and he could hear the adhab, the punishment of the grave taking place. So he asked the Sahaba to get him a branch. He split the branch in 2 and he placed each one on each grave, and then he said, لَعَلَّ اللَّهَ أَن يُخَفِّفْ. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reduce the adhab so long as malam yaybasa, so long as they do not dry up. So from this, some of the scholars have taken, there seems to be some sort of permissibility of planting things at graves. Other scholars say no, it's not allowed, and this was unique to the Prophet ﷺ. So you have a split between the two. Assalamu alaikum, ahla wa sahlan, Hassan, mashallah, jazakallah khair for your mashallah nice kind du'as. May Allah accept my umrah and everyone else's umrah as well. Tahmeed, mashallah, alaikum assalam. What's happening, my brother Tahmeed? What's the latest, bro? Are you aware of any opinion in the Hanafi madhab saying that tasbih in ruku and sujood once is fard? My teacher mentions that, but I can't. Yes, there is a mention of that. I think if you check in Fatul Qadir, I think, or Binaya mentions it, I think here, but it's not the mu'tamad position. As in, um, is the saying the tasbih necessary, or is actually the duration of the tasbih? That's the issue, guys. So generally, the Hanafis say that the duration, staying in the duration, is considered wajib. It's not considered to be fard to stay in that posture. But no, the majority position is that it's not. So check in. I can't remember if it's in Fatul Qadir, if it's in Binaya. Check there. Most I've seen is that less than 3 times is makruh. So yeah, generally that's what they generally say, makruh, tanzihi, they'd say. Khidr, wa alaikum assalam. What is the ruling on talfiq for normal layman? Is it allowed to take opinions from other madhabs, such as combining prayers? So for general public, look, the ruling is this. The general public, because they do not have an intricate understanding of Islam, they simply just follow whatever the scholars tell them. So they ask a scholar a question, whatever that scholar tells them, they can follow that. That is the ruling for this. So if a particular scholar tells them one answer, and then a few years later they ask another scholar and he tells them, they are allowed to follow that. However, the scholars say that they should, in ibadat, when it comes to ibadat, they should stick to one madhab in those issues. Yeah, they should stick to one madhab. This is the safest thing for them to do. And talfiq, there's a whole discussion in the Hanafi school with regards to whether talfiq is allowed or not. It's a split opinion between Hanafis. Mufti Taqi Usmani and others on the opinion that talfiq is not allowed without strict conditions. Right? There are strict conditions that have to be adhered to. For example, like you can only go towards talfiq. Talfiq basically means where you take from other madhabs when there's a need. Only when there's a dire need for it, and then you have to fulfill the criteria of that particular madhab in that particular act. Yeah, so that's a general ruling. Ibi wa alaikum assalam. Umrah was very nice, mashallah. Very, very nice. Enjoyed it so much. Nice hot weather. I love hot weather. And environment, and mashallah, being able to pray salat in Masjid Nabawi and Masjid al-Haram. It's just such a fantastic feeling. And then generally when you're in a Muslim country, you have a very positive sort of atmosphere as well. Awais, walaikum salam. Please, can you start a Kanz ad-Daqa'iq series like you did with Quduri? It's a tough text. I've actually done some Kanz ad-Daqa'iq. So if you go through a playlist, you'll find I actually started Buyu, but then I stopped. I did about 20 lessons or so, 25 lessons maybe. Which mashayikh in the Haramain did you pray behind? I can't remember their names. I don't remember the names of the Imams of the Haram. I know Mu'ayqali, and I know Al-Juhani. Yeah, so those are the two who I did pray behind. But the others, unfortunately, I wasn't familiar with their names. We need to meet up sometime soon. Yeah, definitely. Inshallah. Make some plans, inshallah. We'll meet up. Okay, by the way, guys, I have a course coming up in Asufa on the 2nd of March. So put it in your calendars. On the 2nd of March, inshallah, I'm going to be covering the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ from the Quran. Right, so I'm preparing the course at the moment. So I'm going to be explaining the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ from the Quran, basically. Yeah, so from the perspective of the Quran. So it's going to be a one-day course, inshallah, from 10 o'clock in the morning to about 3 o'clock. And inshallah, it's going to be very, very, inshallah, unique. I mean, I've never delivered this kind of talk before. It's my first time, inshallah. So it's going to be a unique course. So inshallah, those of you guys who are interested, Asufa is going to soon put that up. And once they put it up, I'll be putting it up on my social media, inshallah, on Telegram. Jazakallah khair, Amjad Ilahi Sahib, for your kind donation. May Allah bless you, put barakah in your time, your health, your wealth. I gave you a break and didn't message when you were on, and I did take my break myself. Alhamdulillah, I did lesson 9 in Huwa illa dhikrun. You say in the lesson that you will explain in Hadith lesson. Okay, inshallah, I'll have a check, inshallah. I'll have a check tomorrow. Does the concept of chakras exist in Islam, and should we believe in it? I'm not too sure what chakras are. If you can explain. Shaykh, is it true that Christianity stems from Judaism? If so, why do the Christians have the Bible and the Jews Torah? So, in a gist, let me explain to you the gist. In a gist, and this is why attending that course on the Seerah is going to be very beneficial, because I'm going to be talking about the Jews from the Quran perspective, the Christians from the Quran perspective as well. So, in a nutshell, when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending a message, Allah sent the same message to every prophet that He sent. Every community was given the same message that Allah is one, don't worship anyone besides Him. Day of Judgment is coming. Allah has created angels and Allah has sent messengers and books and Allah's divine decree. The main sort of like concepts of belief, Allah has sent that. And what happened was when it came to the Jews, they were supposed to maintain it. Unfortunately, like a garden, imagine a garden that you don't maintain. It just goes out of control and weeds start growing and things. That's what happened to their religion. Their religion literally became unrecognizable after several hundred years. Yeah, they didn't take care of the deen. The deen became like an overgrown garden and it just messed everything up. And it was irreversible. That was the problem. So Allah sent other prophets to correct the message until Isa alayhi salam came. And Isa alayhi salam, they didn't even listen to him and attempted to kill him as well. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's religion is an untouchable religion. This is a religion that cannot be distorted. Allah Himself is protecting it. So this is the final message that's going to come. The final prophet is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is basically what it means. So it doesn't stem from Judaism, right? It stems from the teachings of the prophets that Allah sent in the past. If that makes sense, Aisha. How tall is Shaykh Yasir? He's very tall. He's I don't know, 6 foot something, maybe 6'4", 5. I don't know. Him and I think Muhammad Hijab are similar height. Maybe Muhammad Hijab might be a bit taller. Allah bless you, my Shaykh. You're welcome, my brother Hassan. You're welcome. Hassan, again, another Hassan. Wa alaikum assalam. Can you explain the rules of Musafir for ladies? Is it different when they are on menses, etc.? So the Hanafis, so according to the Hanafis, they say that because when a woman is on a menses, when she goes on a safar, the ahkam of safar don't apply on her. The ahkam of safar don't apply on her. So once she obviously becomes clean, pure, after the state of menses, she is considered to be like a resident in that place, unless she decides to travel to another location. Yeah, so that is according to Hanafis that the ruling of the menstruation, inshallah. Does that make sense? Many people don't know this. If a person doesn't know this, then fine, whatever they've been praying, that's fine. But according to Hanafis, this is how they treat it. TMZ, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahla. What things would you change in the current Darul Uloom syllabus? What extra things would you... The main thing in the Darul Uloom syllabus that I would change, there's lots of things I would change. Right? There's a big revamp needs to take place. The main thing I would say that needs to change is, first of all, the approach to Arabic language needs to change. That's the first thing, and I'll explain in a bit why. Number 2 is the pedagogy, the way that books are taught needs to be changed. Every book needs to be taught in a way that is conducive to that particular subject. And the third thing is I think there needs to be more focus on Quran and more focus on sciences related to usul. There's more focus on usul fiqh, more focus on usul hadith. But from, like, for the Hanafi madrasas, more Hanafi style. That needs to be. And maybe for other madrasas, the Shafi method. I think those are 3 things that I would say are very important in changing. And the reason being is because, see, the whole point of graduating from a madrasa is that your Arabic has to be top notch. Because once you graduate, you have to now be able to access the books. So that is crucial. That is, Arabic language is very, very important. And unfortunately, in madrasas, there's too much focus on Arabic grammar. There is super focus on Arabic grammar. Most of the people that qualify from madrasas, they do not want to go into Arabic grammar that much. It's pointless for them. For them, they need to go into understanding Arabic text. So there needs to be a heavy focus on Arabic text understanding. Yeah, I would say that. Ibn Adam, some Hindus say to us that Hanafis allow Hindus to be dhimmis, but if Mughals were Shafi, they would have killed us all. What is the answer to this question? I don't know what the Shafi position is on this. You'll have to ask a Shafi scholar on this. But according to Hanafis, everyone is treated as a dhimmi besides the mushrikun of Mecca. Yeah, mushrikun are the Arabs. Yeah, which obviously have now finished now. So that was a rule which was in the first 100 years. So everyone else is basically considered to be dhimmi. You'll have to ask a Shafi scholar about that issue. There is the view that Rasulullah hears us a correct view. So he hears us if we are close to the qabr. So when we're close to the qabr and we give salam, then he hears the salam. And if we're far away from us, from the Prophet ﷺ, and we give him salam, the angels carry the salam. Otherwise, according to majority view, the Prophet ﷺ does not hear from, like, if you give him, if we speak to him from here, he doesn't hear. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, Fresh Prince. Ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban ya habibana. Understanding Arabic test, understanding for this vocabulary has to number one priority. Definitely. You need to be able to read honestly. Like, if you're learning Spanish, what do you do when you learn Spanish? You simply just try to read as much text as you can, right? So if you go into like things like Rosetta Stone, if you heard of Rosetta Stone, I've heard some people say, like some scholars say that they actually learn a lot of languages through Rosetta Stone. So things like that, these kind of things tell us that to understand the language, like we understand English, but we don't necessarily understand the grammar of English. Does that make sense? Like we're very good at understanding. We can read a newspaper, a magazine, we can read subtitles, we can read poster boards, we can read so many things. But if someone was to ask us basic English grammar rules, we probably would fail in that. So that shows you that to learn a language, you don't need grammar. Grammar is not needed. Grammar is only needed when a person wants to delve into intricate discussions, right? Which obviously I would definitely say in madrasas, Arabic grammar needs to be taught, but not too much, not like overdosing them with Arabic grammar. Awais, you're so right about the grammar problem. How do we balance reading and practicing grammar? We want to read Arabic but not make tashkil errors. Yeah, see, this is the thing. In madrasas, this is one of the problems, unfortunately, at a lot of madrasas, which is like the student is made to feel dumb if they can't pronounce the tashkil right. If they can't pronounce the ending of the word, they kind of like belittled, and then student has an inferiority complex every time they read something. They feel as though they have to read it correctly. And that's not how language works. When you naturally learn a language, kids make mistakes. That's how they learn. So kids, they make mistakes in reading, and then you don't mind. So just put like an L, learner sticker on your back, and just imagine that you're a learner and you're going to make mistakes. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Practice makes perfect, inshallah. Yeah. So carrying on, my advice always would be try to read as many Arabic storybooks as you can. Get hold of Arabic storybooks and read until you just kind of like go crazy, I would say. TMZ, barakallahu for your answer. So for current students, would you say increase vocabulary and what books? So increase vocabulary means read stories. Do not try to memorize words. Read stories. Honestly, there's loads of storybooks you can get online. Kids storybooks or kids Arabic storybooks, and just try to read as many as you can. Go through them. You can go into YouTube. You can find people who have made YouTube videos where they read Arabic books. Listen to as many as you can. Read as many as you can. And you will benefit immensely. I was speaking to a scholar yesterday. He was saying that he actually piloted this kind of style of teaching kids Quran by simply translating each word. So every lesson they would do maybe 1 or 2 lines. And he would simply just say, like, Alif Lam Mim, Dhalika al-Kitab, Dhalika that. Al-Kitab, the book, is the book. La rayba fi, la, no, rayba, doubt, fihi, in it. And like that, he would just explain and listen to them. And he found that once he did, like, I think about 1 juz with them, any place in the ayah, that juz he put his finger on, most of them were able to translate it. And then he actually tried to test them on ayahs that they haven't covered, and he found a lot of them were able to translate most of it. So see, that shows you that if you have a student now in year 3 whose Arabic reading comprehension is so good, they might not know the grammar rules behind it, but now if you give him Arabic books to do mutala of reading, say, okay, I want you to read this seerah book, and then you're going to be tested in an exam. Imagine how confident he's going to be in being able to read Arabic. Yeah, think about that. Do you know which madhab has the most easy, straightforward usul for fiqh? I don't know, I haven't really studied too much of the other madhab usul. I think maybe the Hanbali school is quite straightforward. That's why I heard, like Waraqat and these texts. Even the Waraqat is Shafi. I think Hanbali, I'm not too sure. Hanafis is like intermediate. Shafis is a bit complex. The Kalam app apparently is really good. Oh, what I would say is for usul fiqh, I wouldn't recommend, if you're a Hanafi, I wouldn't recommend reading other usul until you study your own usul solid. Make sure you're solid in your own usul, and then after that, try doing others, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to basically burn yourself out. You don't want to do that. Because you're going to get confused with them, and then you're not going to understand how your own work. Kalam app apparently is really good. Yeah, I've heard some people praise the Kalam app. I haven't checked it out myself, but I've heard people praise it. I see a lot of people saying to read the advanced texts such as Kitab al-Asl and advanced books of fiqh, which would this be wrong? If you can read it, good. If you can't read, if you haven't studied Hidayah, I would not recommend to read Asl. Because Asl is what we call mughlaq. It's a text that requires expansion. It requires expounding, explanation. So I wouldn't recommend someone to read Al-Asl if they haven't read Hidayah. If you're reading Hidayah, I would encourage you to read Al-Mabsut by Sarakhsi. Try to read Badaya Sanai as well with it. Very beneficial. Daniel, alaikum assalam. Based on reading Arabic, some Arabic texts like Al Jazeera News don't have any Arab. So how would you know how to pronounce the words? It doesn't matter. Do not worry about pronunciation. Like, pronunciation is obviously a secondary thing. The main thing you want to get is comprehension. Yeah, pronunciation you're not going to figure out. It's going to be hard. You need someone to help you with that. Sheikh has a wonderful page full of Arabic books. I'm a little confused. Are you saying that if a menstruating woman goes on a journey and then becomes park during that journey, she will still be considered as a resident? Yes. Meaning that because she didn't, so when a woman is in menstruation, the salats do not apply to her. So that basically means that when she goes on a journey, on that particular journey, therefore she does not go into the ruling of a safar in that sense. Does that make sense? Now, a lot of people don't know this rule. That's why I'm saying that if they don't know this rule, it's fine. Just carry on what you were doing. Muta'allima wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah. What I'll try to do, inshallah, is I think I'll make a note of this, and maybe I'll do some like videos explaining these kind of rules. Yeah, so video on menstruation and suffer. Yeah, I think I'll do that, because it is kind of confusing. And again, like I said, the moment carry on what you're doing, once you learn, then you can change. But if it's just reading it wouldn't help. Wouldn't it be better to memorize vocab? No. Yeah, see, memorizing vocab is not a natural way of learning a language. It's not. Honestly, it's not a natural way of learning a language. Some people might be able to do it, but for the vast majority of people, it's about repetition, repeated exposure. That's what it is. Maybe if it works for you, fine. You do vocab. Undertake another journey that makes her traveler. Yeah. So then after that, she makes another journey. So she sets off from that particular location. Then now she's going to be considered a traveler. Sheikh, with what's happening in Palestine and Syria, from Sheikh's knowledge, what does Sheikh think is next? Allahu A'lam. You can ask me questions regarding fiqh and tafsir and hadith, but future events, unfortunately, I do not have any qualification in future events. I don't think anyone has. So no scholar really knows what's going to happen in the future. Only Allah knows. The best people to ask about these things is, I would say, military analysts, political analysts, financial analysts. These people actually forecast. They look into what's happened in the past, historic events, and then they can kind of forecast. So what I would say is, generally, no scholar really knows. Any scholar who claims they know what's going to happen, yeah, is basically blagging it. Yeah, they're taking a wild guess, I would say. Maybe they get it right, maybe they get it wrong. What is the hukum of tafdeel of Umar over Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu? I don't know. طيب, أهلا وسهلا وعليكم السلام. Is khabar wahid any hadith that isn't highly transmitted? Yes. So khabar wahid is basically any hadith which has not reached the level of mutawatir, according to the scholars of Usul Hadith. If it hasn't reached the level of mutawatir, It's called khabar wahid. ما لم يبلغ حد التواتر, according to one definition. Awais, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What is your opinion of Nur al-Anwar as a book for usul fiqh? What level is... I would say Nur al-Anwar is very good. It's a very good book to study, but I would say rather than studying Nur al-Anwar, study Matn al-Manar. I think that would be more beneficial. I found it more beneficial. When I taught Matn al-Manar, I think I found Matn al-Manar more enjoyable, and it was much more easier to for the students to grasp as well. Because Nur al-Anwar has discussions in there which are not usul related, and they distract the student from the text. It's like, for example, imagine studying the Quran, just the Quran text, versus studying a tafsir. If you've never studied the Quran and you directly go to a tafsir, you get so distracted by external discussions regarding the words and the sentences and background information, you kind of lose the flow of the verses. It's like that. So I would definitely recommend studying Matn al-Manar first, and then your teacher can encourage you to read Nur al-Anwar on your own. Boxing, MMA, alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, my brother. Long time, my brother, long time. I hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying yourself. What's the best tafsir similar to Jalalain? A tafsir that's similar to Jalalain and easy to follow. Is that what you're saying, yeah? Tafsir Ibn Juzay is very easy to follow. Tafsir Ibn Juzay. Ibn Juzay was a Maliki scholar. Very easy, nice, simple flow. If you read like tafsir of Madarik, tafsir al-Madarik, yeah, very easy to follow. Yeah, Madarik, Nasafi. Ibrahim, Ahmadu alaikum assalam. When is a pregnant woman meant to stop praying? Around the time of the childbirth. So she technically stops when the most of the child has come out of her. So when most of the child has come out, that's the point where now she stops praying. You're welcome, Aisha. Hamza, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ibi, can you give me a loose framework for reading towards understanding more advanced books of fiqh? Currently doing Medina books. I'll probably don't worry, you're quite away at the moment. But for the future, I would say try to read as many story books as you can. Honestly, I am surprised at how many students do not know about the vast literature of storybooks. Storybooks are pointless sometimes because the stories are fictitious usually, but they're beneficial to a student because they give the student understanding of sentence structure, how sentences work and how a person should understand certain expressions as well, word application. Seriously, do that. I actually started something before for students, but I didn't really get time to really structure a whole series of stories. So for some of my students, for those I teach at so far, I actually have little stories that start off with basic and then they slowly begin to become more advanced. So if someone could make, so the thing with the storybooks is you have to kind of really push yourself to read the storybooks, because sometimes you can get a bit bored or lose motivation. If you have a couple of friends that you can sit with together and then you read the books and then you can explain it to each other, that's another good way, motivational way as well. So you get some guys, you just have a meeting online regularly once a week, and then you kind of go through the book. That's it. And there's no problem in going through the book because you're not really going to come out with any deviated views. How should we remember all the Nahu rules? I don't know. I mean, for some people, learning the Nahu rules is memorization. So you make a list of all the Nahu rules and then you memorize them one by one. For some people, using flashcards, where you write down the rule and on the other side you write down the name of the rule and then you test yourself. For some people, it's a matter of simply just going over it again and again and again and again. For some people, it's just doing lots of like forced tarkib. So you do a tarkib, you take a sentence, and then each word you apply all the nahu points, as many as you can. So it's kind of forced learning yourself. What tea is that you're drinking? This is Turkish. This is a type of Turkish tea. And when I say Turkish tea, that's a very general statement. So basically this is, if you can see inside of that, then shabash. If you can't, then again. So there's these leaves inside of it. Leaves and flowers and things, all sorts of things. Mutalim, I want to read Arabic, but it's very hard to read Arabic books without someone listening to me. How can I motivate myself that read by my own? Again, see, this is a good question. This is a very good question. It's very, very difficult for students to really get motivated in getting into doing anything really, right? Especially reading. What I would suggest is you need to have a buddy system. If you have some sort of accountability, you have someone that you kind of have to be accountable to. They're going to ask you questions about it. They're going to, question you about certain phrases, certain words. That's when you kind of start becoming more responsible. Or the second is when you're going to teach something to someone. So if you're going to teach something to someone, you have to know your text very well. So you're going to put more effort into it. I find, for myself, this is my motivation I get. When I teach or when I'm going to write up something, I really have to focus, and my focus becomes very, very, very good at that time. Alhamdulillah. So I would say definitely, if you can get yourself a buddy where you become more accountable to each other, that would possibly be a good thing to do. Ahmad R. Wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. Hamza, I've been reading storybooks for a while and have some more lined up still. The pathway I went through was firstly Qasas Nabiyin for children by Abu Hassan Nadawi. Well done. Ahlan wa sahlan. Very good. May Allah make it easy for you, bro. What happens if the husband denies the wife additional mahar he verbally agreed to, but it was not written down in the contract? So in that case, if she goes to court, Islamic court, she will need witnesses. Just like if someone made a verbal agreement with someone in a British court, you obviously need witnesses. So it'll be difficult to implement that in the courts, but on the day of judgment, the husband will be responsible. So this is a problem that happens sometimes in the world. Some two partners or two people might make an agreement with one another verbally, but they didn't have witnesses. And because they don't have witnesses, it's hard to enforce that contract. So this is what we call, qada'an. So qada'an is difficult. Diyanatan is on the day of judgment. Jazakallah khair, Ibrahim. What are the sunnahs for any newborn? I know there is aqiqah and adhan when they're born, tahniq. Is there anything else? I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So those seem to be fine. If anyone does know anything, just put it in the comments. Can parents take away their children's possession as a punishment? Possibly. Yeah, if it's for adab. Yeah, if it's for teaching them adab, disciplining them. Shazia B. Wa alaikum assalam. Do you have any Islamic book recommendations, please? I would say if you want to read any Islamic books, Quran, you must read translation of the Quran. And you must read Seerah. These are two books I would definitely encourage you to read. Translation of the Quran, Seerah, and then number 3, read biographies of Sahaba. These 3 things I think is essential for every Muslim to be familiar with. Quran translation, choose a Quran translation and go through the whole Quran. Number 2 is the Seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. Make sure you go through the Seerah. Number 3 is the lives of the Sahaba. Yeah, go through that. Bridge 220, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan. Are Salafi Muslims within the fold of Islam? Yes, they are. Which shortest dua to recite for recovery of any illness? I mean, you can make a dua in any language. Yeah, make a dua in your own language, in your own tongue, because it's going to be more sincere from your heart, I would say. Otherwise, reading Surah Fatiha is considered to be, comes in a hadith. It's a ruqyah for curing. Yeah, so you can do it yourself, or you can get someone else to do it as well. MashaAllah, Arif, ahlan wa sahlan on Instagram, Arif, one of my students. Assalamu alaikum, Mu'eed, ahlan wa sahlan. Is there anything recommended to do in Rajab? And why is it recommended? There is nothing that is from the authentic narrations about doing anything in Rajab. And why is it sacred? It's sacred. It's from the days of Jahiliyyah. It was considered to be one of the 4 sacred months. They say that in the month of Rajab, the Prophet ﷺ went to the Mi'raj. But again, we don't find like Sahaba practicing anything in Rajab. Remember, if the Sahaba didn't do it, then there's not going to be much significance for it. That's like a general rule. Where did you get the tea infuser? This was online. Yeah, so these you can buy online. You can buy all different types. I've got quite a few different ones. This is one of the beneficial ones, the useful ones. Mu'eed, only the Sufis say there's extra bit ibadat. Is it halal to eat escargot. I have no idea what that is. First time I ever heard it. Escargot. Oh, snails. Hanafis do not allow this. Malikis allow it, but not Hanafis. Will you be completing the Kuduri series? Inshallah, my brother. I will be completing it, inshallah. Maybe in 4 or 5 years. Mufti, roti or rice? Is that a question? It depends. Depends on my mood. Are we allowed to pay mahar over several months post nikah if it was agreed? Yes. Adil Safdar, you mentioned earlier on about the Quran perhaps not being taught as much as it should be. Do you think one could actually use the Quran instead of storybooks to understand the Arabic language? Good question this is. So you can use the Quran to improve your vocab, but the only issue is because the Quran's language is unique, you don't find the Quran's language widespread in books. Yeah, the language, the style of the genre of the language is not the Quran. Quran's language is very, very unique. So this is why if you only study the Quran, you're going to limit yourself in exposure. It's like, for example, imagine someone just studied the English of the Bible. For example, obviously there's no comparison between Bible and Quran, but I just want to give an example. They won't be able to read magazines and newspapers and articles and this and that, yeah, novels and sci-fi. So that's why it's very important to extend or broaden your horizon in reading. Which method do you think works best for memorizing the Quran? I don't know, because I haven't really memorized much of the Quran. I would say for me in memorization, it's just repetition every single day from the same Quran in the same place, and doing it bite size, doing enough. Yeah, enough. Don't go overboard. Wa alaikum assalam. Faiz, is there any hadith which mention the signs or symptoms of sihr? So some of the narration, like Bukhari narration, mentioned about the Prophet ﷺ when he was affected with sihr, is that he felt restricted, his body felt restricted, and he felt as though things happened that didn't happen. Yeah, so those are some of the signs that are mentioned. Can you explain which method do you think works best for memory? Can you explain the process of doing tahqiq of a book? So what do you mean tahqiq of a book? Do you mean like from manuscripts, or do you mean editions? I don't understand. Well, if you can explain what you mean. Crondon, can't even say that name. Salam, do you have any videos in Hidayah al-Fiqh al-Awwal? So I actually teach it on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, 10:30, I have a class. If you send an email in, I will join you onto the Google Classroom where you can get access to the videos I've done so far. So I haven't started from the beginning of Hidayah. I've started from somewhere in Salat. I started from. And we've reached up to fasting, mid-fasting. Away. So the email is at the bottom. It's going to come in a bit. So just send the email there. Please, can you explain the bahath around kalam lafzi and kalam nafsi, the difference? So, Awais, unfortunately, I do not go through ilm al-kalam discussions on my live streams because ilm al-kalam requires people to understand discussions, and it can lead to people misunderstanding things and causing fitna. That's why I generally have a rule. Unless it's like a very, very simple, straightforward concept, I'll explain it. Otherwise, I don't really kind of go into those kind of issues. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ihsan, welcome back, Ustad. Alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. Hope you could benefit from your stay in Madinah. Alhamdulillah, I've benefited immensely. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I hope you're well, my brother. Ahmad, parents can take away child's possessions even if they're not the owner. Yes. As in, they still belong to the child, but they can hold it back from them. So let's say a child has a mobile phone that belongs to them. They can take it away from them. It all comes under tarbiyah. Yeah, so disciplining, tarbiyah, they're allowed to do all that. But this is only if they are obviously under the age of puberty. Once they're over the age of puberty, then it's different. I heard Tullab are starting to go to Damascus again. Do you know of anyone who's gone? No, I haven't. And recommend websites or authors who have autobiographies of Sahaba. You mean biographies of Sahaba? Yeah, I don't think any Sahabis actually done autobiographies. So biographies of Sahaba, there's actually a book called Suwar min Hayat al-Sahaba, which is a bit difficult to read. There's one called Rijal wa Nisa Hawla Sahaba. Right, so these are like very easy to read books, and I would definitely recommend reading those. There's actually these collections you can get, but they're quite thick, of Sahaba, written by, I can't remember, I think it's Darul Qalam has written it or someone. So they kind of like have a whole like 100, 200, good 200 pages or so of Sahaba. There's actually a book by Ali al-Tantawi on Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Salabi, so Ali al-Salabi also has a collection of Sahaba biographies. Assalamu alaikum, ahlan wa sahlan. HK, please pray for me. I have my final exam tomorrow. I am a little nervous. May Allah make things easy. Ya Allah, put barakah in HK's studies. Guys, make dua for HK that he passes exam and he's able to be successful, inshallah, in the future coming years, and put barakah in his efforts. Is a dua from an alim more potent than a dua from one's parents? Allah knows best. Only Allah knows whose dua is more potent. The only people's du'as are more potent is the one who's closer to Allah. So if your parents are closer to Allah, then they're more potent. Alim is closer to Allah. Generally, they say the parents' du'a for the children is very, very potent. I have a personal fiqh-based question. How soon do you reply by email? Within a few days, usually. Usually within a few days. Speaking of hidayah, could a talib ilm jump to hidayah? I'm reading a translation and it seems straightforward enough. So the thing about hidayah is understanding the workings behind the text. So one is, for example, like you understand what he's saying, but one is, for example, understanding how that whole working works within the Hanafi school. So I would say you can read it on your own, but you won't have the fiqh. The fiqh books require engagement with the fiqh. That's very important. Is order in wudu sunnah mu'akkada, or is there an opinion saying it's mustahab? So sunnah mu'akkada. When should we use inshallah in a sentence wanting to wish someone good, and when should we abstain from it? For instance, someone falls ill, I tend to say, yeah. So scholars say if you say inshallah out of barakah, like you don't say inshallah when you mean may Allah make you well if Allah wills. You didn't mean if Allah wills. You meant by that just like barakah. Yeah, you said it out of barakah. That's fine then, the scholars say. But generally, when you're making a dua, you should avoid saying inshallah. I meant tahqiq from manuscripts. I don't know because I haven't really have much experience in tahqiq from manuscripts, so unfortunately I wouldn't be able to help you there. This allows, since it said we're not supposed to say inshallah when making dua, so yeah. So like I said, Hanafi say that if you say inshallah out of barakah, then it's okay. When my intention is not to question Allah's power here, then it's fine to say. Jazakallah for listening to the Imam's presentation I sent you. I was reading excerpts from Radul Muhtar. Allama ibn mentions a lot of mistakes are forgivable due to balwa. Yeah. I see people at work wipe over their thin socks and lead us in prayer. Is salah behind them invalid? I usually repeat the prayer. You know what? I would find you can pray behind them, because there are some ikhtilafs that some scholars, in the contemporary scholars, have allowed such things. So, in other words, as long as they believe that their own prayer is valid, then it's fine, inshallah. Any recommendations for Muqaddimah Muslim? So for Muqaddimah Muslim, there's actually an Ethiopian scholar, I can't remember his first name, but he actually has a 2-volume commentary on it. It's very detailed. It's very, very detailed. It seems very good. And Sheikh Akram Nadawi, he actually has coming out a 27-volume of the explanation of Sahih Muslim. And I think he's going to go through the Muqaddimah Muslim as well. 27-volume of commentary of Muslim is coming out. It's going to be in Arabic. But I would say, if you're interested, definitely I would say that the Ethiopian scholar, I can't remember his name, unfortunately. It's a 2-volume book. Seems very good. Yeah, very well detailed. So that's one. And I'm trying to think of anyone else. There are some in Urdu out there as well, but that would be fine. Rayhan, ahla wa sallam wa alaikum assalam, my brother. Bridge to eternity. If I, for example, have jealousy for another Muslim and wish the bounty to be removed from them, am I still within the fold of Islam? Yes, you are. Is the child's dua for their parents readily accepted like the parents' dua for the child? I mean, there's no kind of like there are some narrations that mention about the when the person passes away, the dua that the child does for them. So it seems as though there's nothing explicit about this, but there are many narrations that seem to indicate child's dua for their parents is something which Allah listens to. And I do everything within my capability, the bounty to be removed from them. Also, me and a few other Muslims asked questions last year which you didn't answer. Please explain, where is Allah? If you don't know where Allah is, then it's a bit late now. If you forget saying the dua before wudu, can it be said during? Inshallah. So here's the thing about where is Allah. We do not have to ask the question where Allah is. Nowhere in the Quran Allah asked us to where Allah is. Yeah, nowhere in the Quran. So we don't have to even go into this. This is from the mutashabihat. Like, what does alif lam mim mean? What does yadullah mean? What does istawa al-arsh mean? And that's why Imam Malik, he said that these kind of questions, asking these kind of questions is an innovation. Sahaba never used to ask these kind of questions. So I would say, Brother Bridge, avoid these kind of questions. These are questions of innovation. Sheikh, on live before you mentioned if we email about Quran teacher recommendations, you would recommend someone. I emailed you, but don't think you got back to me. Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, I will have a look. I've got lots of emails since I got back from Umrah. So I came back from Umrah last Monday. So I've got lots of emails I have to backlog, I have to go through. Was there a specific teacher that you're looking for? The only teachers that I know would be online. That's the issue. So if you're asking me about teachers, local teachers, then unfortunately I probably won't be able to help you on that. But online ones, I probably will be able to recommend some for you. I have a friend in Saudi, in Medina. He speaks Arabic only though. Speaks maybe a bit of Urdu. So he is a guy who, mashallah, his qira'ah is very nice. He lives in Medina. He's a teacher in Medina. I don't know how much he charges. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be reasonable. But he teaches online. Jazakallah khair, Ihsan. This is reassuring to hear. I was scared that my du'as could be rejected and that Allah could think I'm disrespectful. Subhanallah. You come to Warsaw and give one of your 5. Ahlan wa sahlan. Actually, I've got some talks coming up. Wolverhampton, I've got a talk sometime in March in Wolverhampton. Can footwear be worn whilst praying salah, for example, standing outside? Yes, as long as they're clean at the bottom, they don't have urine or feces or something like that. Do I have to divorce my wife if my parents tell me to? No, even though she hasn't. And no, you do not have to. What should we say before wudu? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maulana Nuski, ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. A nice book on types of hadith based on their chains, mashhur, aziz, gharib, etc., with examples from different hadith kutub. I would say if you want a really beneficial book, there's 2 books that I would definitely recommend. One is a book by Al-Jazairi called Tawjih al-Nadhr. Tawjih al-Nadhr. It's a very, very beneficial book. It's a bit long, but it's very, very beneficial. And one is a hadith book by Usul Hadith book by Sheikh Abdullah Juday. Sheikh Abdullah Juday. It's called, I can't remember what it's called now. Someone knows, just put in the comments. So Juday. It's called what is it called? Tahrir Ulum al-Hadith. Tahrir Ulum al-Hadith. Very good book. I would definitely recommend those 2 books. There's a 3rd book I would recommend, which any book you get by Maulana Abdul Majid al-Ghawri. Abdul Majid al-Ghawri. So you type in Abdul Majid al-Ghawri and PDF and you'll find lots of his books. He's got some very beneficial books, like really seriously well-written books and easy to read as well. He's got one on Mawsu'a, I think it's called Mawsu'atu Alfad al-Hadith or Istirahat al-Hadith. I can't remember the exact name. It's in 3 volumes. Zaid wa alaikum assalam. Ahla wa sanga alde zama roor khaye. Tabiyatunu di khadi. Umair sanga de. Would that be considered disobedience? No, it would not. When studying Dars Nidami and your teacher makes a mistake in a rule or translation such as Dhamir in Quran, should student correct in a polite manner? So in a polite manner, maybe later on go to the teacher, speak to the teacher, and don't make it out as though that he's made a mistake. Say, Ustaz, I'm not sure I've understood this. I mean, is there any way I can check what this? right? Things like that. Maybe the teacher sometimes doesn't know, and so I would say try to be more, diplomatic in how you approach this. That would be respectful. Mubarak Shah, Stasu Mubarak Shah. Jazakumullah khair. As a layman, if anyone asks me, can I respond by saying, I am a layman, I don't have the knowledge? Yeah, definitely, 100%. 100%. Do the dead communicate with us through our dreams? No. I mean, there are signs in dreams from the dead, but it doesn't necessarily mean the deads have some sort of like a phone connection with our dreams. So let me say he's above the throne. I've checked in Quran. It's true. No, nowhere in the Quran does it say it's above the throne. Nowhere in the Quran. It says istawa al arsh. That's what it says. In nowhere in the Quran does Allah say fawq al arsh. No, nowhere. So remember that's incorrect. That's a wrong translation of it as well. If you wear 2 pairs of regular socks which are thick enough to wipe and don't feel the wetness on your feet, can you? No, you can't. What type of loan is halal in Islam? A loan that does not have interest attached to it or conditions. Do you have a favorite type of tea? I don't know, depends on my mood. Is offensive jihad part of Islam? Yes, of course it is. As opposed to defensive? Of course it is. Just like offensive democratic military attacks is jaiz according to the West, like that, offensive jihad is also considered to be permissible. For the Aqidah questions, is it fine to just affirm in the Arabic words, not translate them? Yes, that would be the best thing to do. The best thing to do is just do that. Is this view of the Salaf? Yes, exactly. That is the view with tanzih though. So you affirm and you say Allah is free of any defects that are brought to him. Okay, I'm going to go off Instagram now. So Instagram people, if you want to watch more, come on to YouTube or Facebook. I don't know if Instagram is still shadow banning me on my lives. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, Ibrahim, for your kind donation. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you, my brother Ibrahim. When one is doing only the fard acts of ghusl, does one still have to rub his body with water right and left? No, you don't have to. Fard is basically as long as water is spilt all over your body and goes all over the surface of the skin. Umer Der Khade. Inshallah, we need to make another trip to Bromtown. Definitely. Come down, bro. Before Ramadan, come down. Inshallah. Is the beard haram to shave in Hanafi school? According to Hanafi school, it's considered to be impermissible to shave, according to majority of the Hanafis. Have you been to Holy Smokes just opening Birmingham? I've heard about it, but haven't been. You guys come down, inshallah, and we'll make a visit there, inshallah. Are there any animals that Muslims are not permitted to keep as pets? Anything that is harmful to them, anything that can potentially harm them, kill them. Yeah, anything like that. Is it on Sundays now instead of Saturdays? No. So normally it's on Saturdays, but yesterday I was unable to do the live stream because I had to go to a wedding. So I did it. So I thought, you know what? I'll feel sorry for you guys. I've got loads of curious cat questions as well that I haven't done. So I'm going to try to do some now, and then I'll try to do some in the next, inshallah. Do you still have to pay zakat if you owe a long-term debt, like you owe thousands to a friend? If the friend wants it back immediately, then you must pay off. Then there's no zakat. But if it's a structured debt, so if it's a structured debt as in it's set in such a way that you don't have to pay off immediately, you can pay installments, then you should give your zakat on it. But otherwise, if your friend has not given you a time, I assume that you could pay it off all straight away, yeah? So in that case, you don't have to give zakat if the amount that you owe is more than your assets. When doing maktab assembly, should doing role play with prophets as characters be avoided? I wouldn't see a problem with it. I wouldn't see a problem. As long as it's not done in a way that's belittling. When exactly is the difference between Islamic banks and non-Islamic ones? Don't our banks basically also take more money than the... So I think you need to check exactly how Islamic banks work. So it's going to take a bit of time to explain these things. What I would suggest is go to Islamic Finance Guru on their website, check out how Islamic banks work, and then you'll find out. Because Islamic banks are not straightforward. Islamic bank is a term, but it's basically what you want to know is Islamic models of transactions and dealings, financial dealings. So there are so many out there. Have you heard of the comments of Abu Hanifa in Tarikh al-Baghdad? Yes. And there's actually many works that have been written in response to that. Yeah, many works have been written. Well, they're basically, most of them are invalid, and most of them are just out of jealousy. So it's not really kind of any point going into them. I think Ihsan Tahmid opened it. Yeah. Wow. What is the reason you couldn't wipe over 2 pairs of socks? I have heard that requirements are there. So basically, the Hanafis say that the sock itself must be strong enough as a leather sock. So that's why if you put multiple socks, it's not one sock. It's multiple different layers of socks. So the Hanafis say that the condition is that the sock has to be attached. So if you had 2 socks stitched together, that would be fine. So they have to act as one unit, basically. One unit. Cats can harm us by biting and scratching us. As in harm, as in like serious harm. Yeah, serious harm. Like a wolf or something can do serious harm. Do you have any programs, courses planned in Birmingham anytime soon? Yes, I have some talks. I'll have to check on my calendar. I think I've got, what is it? I've got a talk next week. I've got a talk in, a few talks in February. And so far I'm going to do a seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, a whole day course, a seerah of the Prophet ﷺ from the Quran perspective. Inshallah, it's going to be the 2nd of March. Where the teachers of Imam Abu Hanifa more knowledgeable in Hadith and Imam Bukhari and Muslim? Allah knows best. Aren't dogs haram to keep as pets, even non-harmful ones? So dogs can be kept if there is a purpose for them, like security or for blind people or something like that. Otherwise, no. Ammar wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to thank you so much for your question and answers. You're welcome, my brother Eaglehead. You're welcome. One day seerah sounds very interesting. Yeah, inshallah, it's going to be a unique, first time ever I'm going to be doing it. So I'm preparing at the moment, doing quite a lot of reading for it, inshallah. What are some good advice for studying Usul Hadith in Dars Nizami? I would say, if you want to study Usul Hadith, you must know how a chain works. Get yourself familiar with the writing chains, searching for chains. Very important, honestly. Anyone studying Usul Hadith and not knowing how a chain works and not regularly writing up chains and searching for them in the books is like someone who studies Arabic grammar but has never looked at an Arabic sentence. Yeah. That's my example, I would say. Okay, let's check a bit of Curious Cat. So I won't be able to answer all the Curious Cat questions, but I'll try to do as many as I can from the past. So recent ones I probably won't be able to do, but I'll try to do the past ones. Yeah, because I think it is kind of unfair that people asking questions on Curious Cat and Liaka Zaman answering them. Not very nice. Okay, let's check this out. Let's check out Curious Cat. Is it halal to consume milk that comes from any type of animal, e.g. giraffe milk? Basically, any animal that you can eat, you're allowed to drink the milk. And any animal you can't eat, you can't drink the milk. That's the rule. I'm planning to crash your course in March. Ahlan wa sahlan. Bring some chai wala. Actually, no more chai wala. Bring something better. In terms of writing Arabic, how can we get better, especially note taking? I really appreciate all the gems. What I would say is, when it comes to, if you want to practice your Arabic writing, start off small. Start off writing 2-word sentences and then make it 3-word sentences. So what you can do is read an Arabic text and then close the text, and then from your memory try to rewrite that out again. Yeah, try that. And so once you start doing that, inshallah, you're going to start to become more proficient at it. But the thing you have to remember is, it's not going to come overnight. It's going to take a lot of time. Yeah. So you just got to do sabr. Sabrun jameel. Okay, so let's have a look at the questions. Got loads of questions, man. Loads of questions. Okay, let's have a go at these then. Okay, so What tawbah can someone do for backbiting? They can ask the person for forgiveness, or if they fear it will cause more problems, they can give sadaqah on their behalf. Yeah, so person can basically just give sadaqah on their behalf, ask for forgiveness to Allah, and make dua for them as well. What's the difference between Jum'ah khutbah and bayan? So the khutbah is basically the Arabic talk. Yeah, khutbah is the Arabic talk usually. The bayan is not necessary. Yeah, so in the Jummah, when the guy gets on a mimbar and then the azan takes place and then he gives an Arabic talk. Sometimes some people do a half Arabic, half English. That is the main thing. That's the khutbah. That's part of the Jummah. As for the English talk that takes place or Urdu talk, that's not necessary. That's just some reminder that some people do. So now, what is the Islamic view on receiving Christmas cards? Okay, Christmas is over now, so we don't need to answer those. Is a man wearing a pink shirt in the United States permissible? It's like flat pink, not bright. Permissible. Yeah, it'd be permissible. Yeah, because it's not really kind of associated to LGBT, or it's not associated to women. What is the Islamic view on receiving? No, is saying happy holidays? Ignore that one. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. I've had a bad dream and I was told not to tell anyone which dream but bothered me. Should I get this interpreted? If you feel that it's bothering you, then get it interpreted. Yeah, so if you feel as though there is a dream that is bothering you, get it interpreted. Okay. When reading ما لك لا تأمن على يوسف, do you make a round shape with your mouth? Yes. Yeah, so you make a round shape with your mouth. Is it permissible to pray qadha salah, like example one has 100 missed salahs of all 5 salahs? Can he finish all qadha fajr first and then his zuhr and so on? Or must he consistent with all salah? Is it permissible to pray qadha salah, like example one has 100 missed salahs of all 5 salahs? Can he finish all qadha fajr first, then his zuhr? So you have to pray your normal salats, obviously. You got to pray your everyday salats. And you do the qadhas with it. Yeah, so with each salat, do a few qadhas if you can. Or one qadha with every salat. Do you have a feeling of being obligated to do these live streams? Yes, I feel a responsibility. I mean, I kind of started it off, so I feel as though there's many people out there that benefit a lot from it, and it helps a lot of people to get answers where otherwise it'd be difficult for them to get answers. I feel that. I don't know what you guys feel. How long does the Jummah khutbah have to be? What is the obligatory amount? So there's a difference of opinion among scholars. According to Imam Hanifa, as long as you just say a few words of dhikr, that's it. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, done. According to Sahibain, it has to be a bit longer. It has to be something recognized as a khutbah in Arabic. Yeah, with like praising Allah, the Prophet ﷺ, a few ayahs of the Quran, dua, sitting down, and then doing the same again. Are Baligh people with low functioning autism, severe autism, exempt from salah? If they don't understand what salah is, if they don't understand the concept of responsibility and salah, then they are exempt, inshallah. Where can I have dreams? I don't know. If praying at home with your family is either adhan or iqamah necessary, or could you just stand and begin the salah without adhan iqamah? Yeah, you can stand without, but it's recommended to do the adhan, and or if you can't do that, just a local adhan is sufficient. Just do the iqamah. I agree with that, and I'm sure others find these actions very important. Jazakallah khair, Ama. Wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, my brother Muhammad. Salam, what is the purpose of iddah for women? So, salam, the purpose is that it's an instruction from Allah. An instruction from Allah which we call Amr Ta'budi from Allah, due to the rights of the marriage. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's basically something which we don't know the exact reason, but like it's like, why do you pray 5 times a day? We don't know the exact reason why 5, but it's something which we're obliged to do. What is the ruling of using mouthwash that contains alcohol like Listerine? If you can find an alternative that's as effective, then use that. Then you can't use it. Otherwise, you can use it. I read this in Jami' Tirmidhi. The Messenger ﷺ said, whoever prays Fajr in congregation, then it sits remembering Allah until the sun has risen. Then he prays 2 rakats. Then for him, the reward like the Hajj and Umrah. He said, the Messenger ﷺ, complete. Is this a weak hadith, and can women get reward for doing the same at home? So give me a second. I can't remember if this hadith is weak. I'll have to have a little check. Give me a second, guys. I don't know. I have to look for it. I can't seem to find the. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check. I'll have to come back to that one. Okay. Yeah, hadith, okay. Yeah, من صلى الغداة في جماعة ثم قعد يذكر الله حتى تطلع الشمس. Yeah. Okay, so yes. Yes. It's acceptable. And women get this. Yes, women can get this at home, inshallah. Yeah, so generally women get the same reward as men according to how they are expected to fulfill the commandments. Okay. Ustad, how do we balance voluntary acts of worship where we keep adding and then feel guilty if we can't keep it up due to? What I would suggest is just do whatever you can. Yeah, like imagine the lady who went into a well and she took out water for a dog in a shoe. That was such a voluntary act, but she probably only did that one off, and that enabled her to get Allah's forgiveness. So the Prophet ﷺ says the best actions Allah loves are those, the ones that are consistent, even if they're very small. So do something consistent, like maybe once a week, read, like, I don't know, some extra nafal after Maghrib. But do it regularly. Do women have to cover their face when going outside? Some Hanafis say. So there's difference of opinion amongst Hanafis on this issue. So it's not a categorically clear issue that all women have to cover. No. So I would say is, if that women find it, women generally, the more they cover, the better it is. The more loose their clothes are, the more they cover, then the better it is. Right? That's something which the Sharia does encourage, definitely. If a woman finds it very difficult to cover her face in a society, in a place, then obviously she can reveal her face, but it would be more encouraged for her wherever she can try to cover her face. For Arabic reading, this app may be beneficial. It has over 20,000 books for children. Abjad, Kutub, Riwayat, Qasas. Okay, excellent. So check that out, guys. I haven't checked it out, but check it out. Wa alaikum assalam, my brother Emullah. Alhamdulillah, I'm very good, thank you. Tell us a story that taught you something. The story that taught me something. I will tell you a story that taught you something. One of the stories that taught me something is that it doesn't matter who you are. When Allah opens up opportunities for you, make sure you take them. Because those opportunities that Allah opens up for you is Allah really opening up for you the means for you to gain a reward that you could not gain in any other way. Remember that. I've learned that, it's hard way, I think. So sometimes, for example, I get a bit lazy in certain opportunities I get. But then later on, a few months, years later, I realize, I should have taken that opportunity. And this is something which I'm saying it's very, very important for especially students of knowledge, for every Muslim, that when, let's say, for example, someone offers you a lift to go to the mosque, and you say, "No, it's okay, I'll pray at home." That was an opportunity for Allah. Allah's giving you that you can gain a reward that you wouldn't be able to gain anywhere else. So sometimes what tends to happen is you don't realize maybe that one opportunity, that one reward, like that lady who fed the dog water from her shoe, that was the opportunity. She took the opportunity and she gained the reward. And there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where, in Sahih Bukhari, where 3 men came to the mosque. One of them came and the Prophet ﷺ was giving a talk and he found a space close and he got through. And the second man, he stood at the back. And the third person, the second man stood at the back, sat down at the back. And the third person stood at the back and then he walked away. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, "Shall I tell you about the incident of let's put my phone on charge. So I'll tell you about the 3 men, the incident of the 3 men." And he said the first one was, he searched for Allah and then Allah found him a space. Allah opened a space for him. The second man was, he was shy, so Allah kept him at the back. And the third man was the one who turned away, so Allah turned away from him. The idea is that you have to try and look for opportunities in life. Honestly, this is something which, take the opportunities and you'll see that like a branching of a river. That one stream will branch into another, into another, into another. Is there a known reason, sir, more behind why I'm playing stringed instruments? Allah knows. During the week, I came across situations where I think to myself, I need to ask myself a question, and then when it comes to Saturdays, I forgot. Yeah, but that means the question wasn't that important. That's a sign from Allah, inshallah. Is it true that the Muhaddithin say Tirmidhi was lenient in his gradings? No, not necessarily. Is my prayer valid if I start Dhuhr a few minutes before Asr and finish in Asr time? No, it's not valid. You have to repeat your Salat again. I asked about whether Yasir Qadi was okay to listen to, as he is controversial. You asked for an example. He said that it could be possible that Ya'juj and Ma'juj could be zombies, basically, because he can't conceive how millions of people could. Yes, possible. I mean, it's an interpretation, isn't it? It's not like a wrong interpretation. There are many people, like Mullah Shah Kashmiri, he believes Ya'juj and Ma'juj are basically the Caucasians, China and the Caucasians. Those are the Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Tawjih an-Nadr. Is this a permissible stance? I mean, it's plausible. Say it's permissible, you would rather say, is it plausible? Plausible. Tahrir al-Ulum Hadith. What was the third one you mentioned? The third one was any book by Abdul Majid al-Ghawri. Abdul Majid al-Ghawri. Sheikh, sorry, I think my question was unclear. What I meant was, can I finish all my Qadha Fajrs first, then my Zuhrs and then all, yes, you can do that, inshallah. I went on Umrah with my family and we were able to perform one together, alhamdulillah. However, after a day or so, my sister's cycle began and she was upset she couldn't do second with us. He still he still get the reward as if it was with us, inshallah. Inshallah. How come Q&A is on Sunday? Because I was supposed to do it yesterday, but unfortunately I had to go to a wedding, and I promised you guys on Friday that if I can't do it on Saturday, I'll do it on Sunday. Can a woman do Umrah without mahram? The issue with the traveling, isn't it? Traveling. This is where scholars differ on this issue. If the journey is safe for her to travel, then it's possible. There are people who may pretend to be rich to sell money making courses. Is this permissible or deception? I don't know. It depends what they say. So what do they exactly say? Irfanu alaikum assalam, my brother. How are you? Ahlan wa sahlan. I meant, example, I read Quran every day, but increase a little each day. Some days it feels like shaitan is trying to stop me or trying to... What I would say is, if you need to take a break, take a break. But make sure you still read a bit. Right? Keep a little bit going. Like, like a flame. Keep the flame burning. I've heard that if you stay remembering Allah after Fajr till sunrise, you do two nafal, you'll get the reward of Hajj. Authentic, complete, forbidden time to pray around sunrise. So after sunrise is fine. After sunrise, how would you explain simply the four madhabs are to someone? So check my video. I have a whole 3-part series on the history of madhabs. History of madhabs. Whilst in Umrah, my family got people prayer mats with names engraved on the corner. Was this okay? Yes. How have you ever visited Al-Ahsa? No, I haven't gone there. I would really have loved to go there. Maybe inshallah one day I'll plan something to go there, inshallah. Why must we have our heads shaved bald when in Umrah? We can have it cut or shaved. So we don't exactly know the reason for this. Allah has instructed this, mentioned in the Quran, the Prophet ﷺ instructed it. Maybe, possibly, the wisdom behind it is that it's like you're kind of cleaning yourself from your past life. You're kind of starting a new clean sheet. You said Salah started in Zuhur but ended Asr is invalid. Is that right? Yes. What is the story behind Qasida Burda benefit? I don't know. Okay. Next, what's the difference between Ishraq prayer and Duha Salah? Is it only 2 nafal and is it read? Can Ishraq? Yes. There are 2 schools with regards to this. 2 schools with regards to this. One, they are both the same with different names. And number 2 is Ishraq is prayed immediately after sunrise, and Duha is after a few hours. Can menstruating women go to the masjid for funerals, dhikr? Not in the prayer area. Yeah, they cannot go into the prayer area, basically. From emergency question. The child would die at the age of 2 owing to brain. This is a question that is supposed to answer. Owing to brain defect causing emotional damage to parents, it would not live further. The brain would keep expanding at abnormally large size during those 2 years, causing death. So, if the doctors have advised this, then the parents can follow their advice. But I would say to get a second opinion from a Muslim practicing doctor. What do Hanafis say about female congregation praying together? Yes, but It should not be done regularly. Okay, let's check some of these. Does Isha Salah have to have an end time? Yes, Fajr. Yes, wa alaikum assalam. I was praying Dhuhr Jama'ah in Masjid and made the final ruku and then continued alone after Imam finished. A brother came and joined me as if I'm making a new Jama'ah. Is this allowed like a chain? Hanafis would not allow it, but other madhabs do allow it. Why will more women than men follow the Antichrist and more women will go to hell, please? So the hadith does not say more women will go to hell. Yeah. So there's no hadith that mentions about more women being in hell than men. Right. So there is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said to a particular group of women, it was a particular village of women, he was saying about them that most of you guys, the way you're living your life is, is like a life that will end you up in hell. أكثركن في النار. And as for the Dajjal, so maybe it's because there's going to be more women in the world. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe it's not necessarily Muslim women, it's going to be non-Muslim women. Yeah, so we don't exactly know the reasons behind this. So I think sometimes what happens is people, when they're presented with the hadith without the background information, is it kind of can come across in a way that sounds very derogatory. Yeah, like sometimes people say the hadith that women have less intellect than men. There's no hadith that says women have less intellect than men. In fact, if you look at it from an academic point of view, women possibly are more intellectual than men in many fields. What the hadith is referring to is emotion. Women are more prone to their emotions, and it's very difficult for them in like tough situations for them to make sound judgment on issues. That's basically what it's referring to. Can normal socks be worn under wudu socks? Yes. But I thought fard salah that begins in a prayer time is valid except the 3 times. So, no. So basically, every salat has to start and end within that salat time. Every single salat has to start, Hanafi say, and end within the salat time. The only one exemption is Asr Salat. Asr Salat, it's exempted salat, can start and then you can end it whilst the sun is setting. That's the only one exemption. All other salats must start in the salat time and end in the salat time. I have wisdom teeth. When I eat, it's common that inside my cheek gets pinched and bitten, drawing blood. Do I have to spit the food out and rinse? No, you don't have to. You carry on eating. Aslam, ahla wa sahlan, wa alaikum assalam. What tea have we today? This is Turkish tea, my brother. Ibrahim, is it makruh tahrim wa tanzihi for women to pray together in Jamaat tanzihi? Also, what level of makruh is it for them to go to the masjid? So again, it would all be based upon the issue of if they how much like possibility is it for them to be harmed, right? So in a society, if it is more encouraging for them to go to the masjid, they get more of a connection with Allah, they learn their deen better, and so it would be, in fact, in some places it'd be encouraged for them to go to the masjid. In those places where it would save them, because for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say there's a woman living in a house. She's a new Muslim, and in a house is not conducive to her religion. She needs a place to learn her religion. There's no facilities for women to learn their religion. Then for her to go to a mosque where there's women's facilities would be more encouraged because it would help her iman. Especially I would say for a lot of people living in the West. As for in Muslim countries, then obviously there's no real need for that. And like in Masjid al-Haram and Masjid Nabawi as well, it would definitely be recommended for women to go to the masjid. Is it halal to eat turtle? No, not going to Hanafis. How does one deal with waswasa and tahara that so what you need, my brother Muhammad, is you need to get support. You need to get someone that constantly reassures you that your wudu is fine. Right, that's what you need. Very important. What institution did you graduate from? From Pakistan, Karachi, Banuri town. Please make dua. Allah forgives me for the sins I have committed and the people I bullied, hurt me. So many of you guys asked me for duas in Haram, and alhamdulillah, I made duas for as many of you guys as I could. If you read the azan or the iqamah wrong, does this affect one's prayer? No, does not. Okay, so I think the rest of the Curious Cat questions, I'll leave it till next time. Okay, I think I'm going to finish it there, guys. So the rest of the Curious Cat questions, guys, I'm going to answer because I've got loads left, whole backlog. So I do apologize for that. Right. Okay, Ibn Adam, that one. What to do as a Hanafi when Imam combines prayers due to cold weather? I would say if you can pray in your own time, pray in your own time. You can't follow that. In Hajj, is it most preferred to stay in Mina for 13th? No, it's both the same. Yeah. So this it's not considered to be recommended mustahab. I work in Asda where I have to stock items on the shelves, including alcohol and wine, but it is allowed, yes. I can't hold my wudu. It is very difficult. Allah make it easy for you, my brother. Is it true it's better for women to pray at home than the three sacred mosques? I have not come across that. You're welcome, Nilofer. What do you suggest to study after Quduri? Straight to Hidayah or something between? Try to do something in between, I would say. Try to do something like, if you can study Lubab, if you can study something like maybe even Sharh al-Wiqaya, that would be a good option. Or even Ikhtiyar. Did the link I sent show up? No, I can't see any link. I don't think you can send links on this. I don't think it shows. Is kafara upon a person who breaks his fast in Ramadan by masturbating, or is it only a person sexual intercourse? Only a person with sexual intercourse. If you are in Mecca during the Hajj months and you've not done your Fard Hajj, is it an obligation for you to stay? I've heard people not going after Ramadan for that reason. So if you're allowed to stay, if the Saudi government allows you to stay, then you need to stay. And if obviously there's means and everything. Otherwise, then you don't have to. Can we pray with them as nafal? Can we pray with them as nafal? Don't know what your question was. Oh, you can pray nafal, yeah. So you can, as long as it's like a, if it's like a salat which can be prayed in that time, it's fine. Is it allowed for a layman to follow another madhab's opinion whenever they want? No, not allowed. All right, guys, I'm going to finish it there. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for watching this and joining me. May Allah bless all of you guys. Put barakah in your days, in your time. And by the way, guys, let me show you my head so that you guys can remember what my hair used to look like. And this is me. I look like an ex-convict. On Seeker's Guidance, Ustad Tabriz said Salah is valid if it began in Zuhur but ended in Asr, though he said it's sinful. I don't know. Maybe you need to ask him. From what I've understood from the Hanafi school, no Salat can go into another Salat time. Jazakallah khair. You're welcome, my brother. You're welcome. Shukran. Sidi wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. Jazakallah khair. It's grown quick, yeah, it's grown quick. What dua do we make before wudu? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alright, guys. Take care, inshallah. I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.